as Russell just did. And then what happens is, as soon as that happens, everybody takes and they count their victory points. And I bought a 6 point, and then I had my 3 1 points from the beginning of the game. So that gives me 9 points. How many victory points did you have?
3.
That means I had 9 and you had 3. That means I win.
What a surprise.
So with that, that's basically how you play the game. You're just going to be trying to get more actions and more buys and more draws, and you're really going to start playing. It really starts to come together, and when you get these cards and you get a handful of them, you know exactly what to do with them. You always want the extra actions first, and then you want the the extra cards, and it really just becomes a chain reaction of how you're going to use this. So that's how you play the game. Now we're going to look at what we thought of it. So what do we think about Dominion? Well, I own a copy. Played it with you and 2 other people. They both went out and bought a copy. You're on the verge of buying a copy. I think that we pretty much love it. But how much do we love it? Well, first, let's take a look at the fun factor of the game. One of the things that I like most about this game is that each game is very different. For one thing, you play with a set of 10 different cards, and all of these cards are going to be vastly different. And some of them will be attacks, some of them will add action, some of them will add buys. They're all very different. You play with 10 different sets of cards. There are 25 in the first set. There's another expansion coming out that will add 25 new ones. So there's lots of different options, and each game will be vastly different. Sometimes you'll have attack cards with no defense cards. Sometimes you'll have no extra draws or no extra actions, and each game is going to be drastically different, and that really adds to the amount of fun that you can have with the game. I gave it an A+. It is now one of my top 3 games, but A+, solid game overall, very easy to play, which also adds to the fun of the game, and very easy to teach. You can get pretty much anyone. This is very much a gateway game for new players.
Oh, does that mean it's my turn?
Yes.
Oh, okay, sorry.
That's why I was looking at you.
Oh, I was just like, you were looking at my pretty face.
No.
Anyways, yes, A+ for me as well. How many times we played this game in the course of like a month?
Oh, how many times did we play it in the course of like one night? Like 8?
I mean, we will sit there and play this game over and over again because it is that much fun. It's just addictive. I mean, there's so many ways the game can go that it's just, every game is a new experience. I mean, God forbid you ever get a game where you have no moat and all attack cards. And then that game is just brutal as can be. Then you can get another game that has no attack cards, and it's just you trying to get your thing together before everyone else does. It's just every game is so different, and that makes it so much fun.
The one weakness that I will say this game suffers from is that there is a little bit of, as you start to get the rules down, a lot of min-maxing, really knowing what the maximum way and the maximum efficiency, your initial instinct when you start playing this game is to just buy all the cool cards, and you want more actions and more buys and lots of different cards, but then you soon learn that the fewer cards you have, the better, and the more you can do with those cards, the better. If you can have a 20 card deck, then you're in really good shape, and that kind of takes away from it a little bit, but it's still a lot of fun. Maybe after we get the 50 to 100 games under our belts, then maybe we'll say, it's getting a little tiresome at how you constantly have to max things out. But for the moment, I think that it's about as fun as it can be for us. So it's definitely a lot of fun. Now, as far as the simplicity of the rules, well, we got this manual. It's 8 pages long.
And very pastel.
I think that, well, first of all, yeah, it's very ugly. I don't know what they were thinking with this manual.
I mean, Dominion, kingdom building, pastel, that just works, right?
Light blue and violet. I don't understand. But in any case, I think I read this manual for like 30 seconds. I had already read several reviews, watched a video review of it. It's a very simple game to get down, so you can pretty much toss the instruction manual away after a while and be done with it, because the game is really simple. Once you have the basics, like I said before, if you can count, you can play the game. So I give it an A plus for simplicity of rules.
I gave it an A. I mean, actually, I don't know why I didn't give it an A plus. I mean, it's simple as can be. It's just, you know, I mean, there's a couple cards like the library sometimes that can get kind of confusing, or adventure, or some cards that we haven't really used so much because they're a little bit not really confusing, but just iffy.
Well, there's also a couple situations where, like, the throne room will let you do 2 actions, and so then you're combining the. What happens when you have the throne room with the throne room, and you're doubling a double action, and then you know you're doubling the library? It's like, how does that all work out? And eventually, you know, you can come to a conclusion in your head, or look it up and see what other players have done, and you can come to an understanding as to what you're supposed to do. But still, at times that can get a little confusing, a little difficult.
That's essentially where I lost that little bit for me, is because some of the cards, well, not some of the cards, like 2 of the cards, can just sometimes get kind of out there confusing.
So the components, well, there they are. They're cards. I mean, basically, if you like cards, you're going to like this. Now, a lot of people are going to have a lot of problems with paying you know, $30 to $50 depending on where you get the game from. Hopefully you're getting it from Thoughthammer, because they have it, I think $31 is why I paid for it. Really good price, really great service and stuff. So the cards they have these black borders, and they have a tendency of getting kind of chipped as you play them. A lot of people love to play their game in sleeves, but I'd rather buy a whole new copy of the game for the money you're spending on the sleeves, and for the ability to play the cards as you want to play them.
I wouldn't want to go through putting them all in sleeves.
I wouldn't want to go through buying the sleeves personally, and then shuffling with the sleeves. So that is another thing. The cards, as I said, they get kind of chipped because, you know, as you're shuffling these, the black borders kind of get scuffed up, and they start showing their wear and tear after a while. And they also get kind of faded. But the problem, the reason that you come to this problem is that in any given game, you're going to be shuffling dozens and dozens of times. You're just going to be going through your deck really fast, and that's where the wear and tear comes from. Like I said, it's cards, so I had to give it a B. I mean, it's slightly above average just because, you know, it's pretty nice artwork. Otherwise, I probably would have gave it a C. I mean, you get what you see. It is cards. There's nothing really spectacular about it. I probably should have taken off some points for the pastel rulebook, but I didn't.
I really hate that rulebook.
Yes.
I really hate that. Anyways, I gave it an A. It's cards. I mean, you can't really count off for it being cards because it's a card game. I mean, I guess the cards could have been a little higher quality, but I mean, they work. So
I brought out the box because I think that it deserves being mentioned. I like boxes that have good organizational skills. Instead of having all 500, because the game comes with 500 cards, instead of having all 500 cards rubber banded in a box and having to sort through them each time, you can instead stick them in these little dividers, and each divider holds one set of cards, and you have enough room to put all your cards out, and it's just really nice. Kudos to them for coming up with an organizational system that works.
Yeah.
I love when game companies give you something besides, here's a hole to stick your parts in. So, you know, they definitely get some extra credit for that. So maybe it almost balances out the pastel rulebook.
Don't keep bringing that over here. Let me just see it. I don't want to see it anymore. No, I do agree, though. Give me a box that has good organization any day. I absolutely adore it.
Overall, I give the game an A+. Fantastic game. Easy to play several times. Easy to get new players in. The one complaint that I have about it is it's only up to 4 players. Hopefully, with the expansion coming out, they'll come up with some solution to fix that. But it's not in the standard rules, so you got to take that into consideration. I gave it an A+. What did you give it?
I gave it an A+.
It's a fantastic game.
It is a replayability like no other.
Yeah, and like I said, every game is different. You know, one of our games last week, we ended up with a 3-way tie.
Oh, that was insane.
It was epic.
Like the entire game long, I thought I had it. I was picking up 6-pointers like crazy, and then like you were over there stealthily picking up your 3s.
Yeah, because I mean we were both playing the game differently, and you may pick up a 6-pointer every 2 turns, and I may pick up 2 3-pointers every turn. So Eventually, it came out to can be a three-way tie, and we had all had the same number of turns, which is the tiebreaker. So it just ended in a tie, which is another point I wanted to bring up.
Oh yeah.
You can't really keep track unless you're like mentally remembering every point that people get and every point that people get rid of. You can't really keep track of who's winning. So you may think you're winning and in the game, and then you lose. So, love Dominion. Hopefully you guys will give it a chance and you've really enjoyed this review. Otherwise, and look for someone playing a demo of it. Just give it a chance because it really is a fantastic game. And with an expansion coming out, 2 expansions this year, there's a lot of replayability already and a lot more coming. So, good luck and have fun. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.